guess we're just gonna have to say Professor Pickle is Zygarde and just leave it at that. Happy Pokemon Day, LoreXers!
Happy Pokemon Day, everybody! Look, Professor Cameron's back!
Greetings! I brought my favorite Chonkachu for the occasion as we talk more of the intersection between Sonic the Hedgehog and Pokemon.
I brought my, E123 Omega?
That's a construct, Lycos.
You're right.
In all seriousness, though, apparently Pokemon Day happening today, February 27th, happens to fall on a LoreX day. We had a lot of fun with our previous Pokemon episode, so it's time to take things to the extremes, to the mythos, to the legendaries.
This time, we're not going like main stage characters and starter Pokemon. We're going pseudo-obscure characters who we haven't really talked too much about, and legendary Pokemon.
So the idea for this episode are supporting characters mapped to legendary, mythical Pokemon. You know the difference?
Wait, there's a difference?
I'd ask the professor, but I don't really want to talk to him again.
My basic understanding is if it can't breed.
I feel like we're going to run into exceptions, but let's kick it off, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
So I know, Lycos, you've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and I personally have not. So where do we want to start? What mythical Pokemon, legendary?
The first legendary Pokemon I thought of was Celebi. I don't know why I thought of Celebi, to be honest. Maybe it's still some PTSD from previous Pokemon games, but...
Possibly. Timey-wimey BS stuff.
Little grass dude flying around. So I'm like, okay. Little grass dude flying around who we don't really talk about. Cosmo.
Ooh, oh, I see the connection made there.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, magical plant, flora, fauna thing. Magical plant, flora, fauna thing.
Yeah. And you know, you could say there's an argument to be made here about wanting to go back in time for when this particular character was still alive. I'm not talking about Celebi, by the way. I assume that Celebi exists living across all possible timelines, much to Tails' disappointment.
Yeah, and some timelines it's normal, other timelines it's canonically shiny. Depends on the timeline.
As an alternative to Celebi, what about Shaman?
Ooh.
For Cosmo.
Oh, my favorite Chia Pet.
I don't know, like there's something about Cosmo is leafy, but also has these sort of like flowered abutments, so to speak. And I know like Celebi doesn't really have a lot of floral stuff going on, but Shaman does.
It was more like the leafy flyingness, because Celebi's just flying little dude, and that was part of my link there. But you're right, Shaman could also work for that, because if I recall correctly, Shaman has like a flight form or something like that.
Completely different than the little Chia Pet energy that it was given earlier.
Yeah, no, I prefer the Chia Pet form. Also, I'm so mad they never made a Shaman Chia Pet. That was such an easy marketing thing right there, and they never did it.
Shocking, right? If anything, what we also have in the Sonic universe are characters who are like based off of animals, like the Hedgehog, the Echidna. Cosmo is an alien?
Yeah.
So if anything, between Celebi and both of Shaman's forms, which of them seemed the most alien? I think Celebi takes the cake there because he's more bug-like than anything else.
Yeah, because Shaman's just a hedgehog, and I get like reindeer vibes from Flight Mode.
I see that.
Which, again, that's weird to me because I'm like, how do you go from hedgehog to reindeer? But that's a question for Pokemon, not me.
I can chime in here.
Yes, Professor.
Did you know that reindeers tend to fly around the holiday season? That's why this one flies. Obviously, flying reindeers. You get it? You get it?
Yes, I get it, Professor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Where do we go from here, Lycos? What else do you have on your list there?
Next on my list is my favorite legendary Pokemon, Regigigas. I love Regigigas. I love the Regis. I am a sucker for constructs, so of course they're my favorite. Who is big, slow, powerful, ancient? I thought of the Gaia Colossus from Sonic Unleashed. Because in a way, it's like this big golem, big construct that has like the smaller forms, the individual temples. And it made me think of Regigigas creating, I don't remember if he's created all of the other 5 Regis, because there's 5 now, but he definitely made the original 3. Registeel, Regice, and Regirock.
Quote here from Bubble Garden, Regigigas is the master of the legendary giants, creating them in ancient times. And it seems like that includes all 5 of the Regis.
Okay, so so that would include Regidraco and Regieleki?
For a moment, like, I thought you were gonna go with big gun energy like Omega or Gamma or something, but we are talking about lesser known characters, and the Gaia Temple construct, what do they call it again?
I will consider it a construct.
That to me feels almost like Reggie Rock on his own, but to your point of being a combination of all the individual temples together does give heavier Regigigas vibes.
Especially because, I don't know if you remember, but in the original game he was in, Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, the only way you could get Regigigas was if you got to him in his Snowpoint Temple with Regice, Regirock, and Registeel in your party to free him from his ancient shackles. Also, it's funny that you did bring up Omega for Regigigas, because my first Regigigas is named Omega.
Actually?
Yes, named after the Sonic character.
There's the connection. Admittedly, I don't have as much experience going through Sonic Unleashed, but I wonder if there is something almost elemental about the temples that could be mapped to each of the Reggies on their own, but an exploration for another time. Do we have any other, like, construct Pokemon here?
My first thought for, like, a construct Pokemon is something like Golurk? Is that his name? It's been a while.
Golurk. Dude's a golem. Yeah.
Created in ancient times. Also, fun fact, Golurk can fly. It canonically can fly, and it can learn the move fly.
What?
Its legs can contract into its body, and then its bottom becomes basically like a jet thruster, and it flies.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
See, I knew the professor would agree with me. Cameron, what's wrong with you?
Rocks in the air and flying feels more like a temporary thing, but it's the wonderful world of Pokemon, so who am I to argue?
Speaking of you arguing, I'm going to talk about your favorite platypus.
Starline?
Yes, I have a legendary for Starline.
Listen, I know we're talking legendaries and mythics, but dude gives me big Quaxley vibes. One of the starter Pokemon we talked about. Kind of uppity and flamboyant and whatnot.
Yeah.
Peacock energy. I don't know. Something about that really vibes with that platypus.
You know what that platypus also has? He's got the power of portals. And we have a legendary Pokemon who is all about portals. We got Hoopo.
Oh, Hoopa.
Oh, is it Hoopa?
Right.
I thought it was Hoopo. Oh my gosh, it is Hoopa.
Hoopa.
I'm not a Pokemon master.
I see where you're going from here. He's got the Warp Topaz, he can make portals, and Hoopa has little rings that can be used as dimensional gates. I see that. Alternatively, I can offer an argument, just so we don't have to talk about the platypus anymore. Couldn't you say that anybody has the ability to make portals if they had the Warp Topaz? We see this in the comic series during the Zombots arc.
Correct.
Silver and Sonic are able to do so. Shadow actually has limiter rings on his body, and Hoopa has an unbound form, which, I don't know the details of the transformation, seem to happen when the shackles, proverbially speaking, are taken off. So, if anything, if I had to make an argument, clearly in my favor, not a side character, clearly one of the main three hedgehogs, but Hoopa to me seems more like Shadow the Hedgehog, unbound, wielding a Warp Topaz instead of the Chaos Emerald.
Hoopa can remain unbound for 3 days, and then it is sealed back inside the prison bottle. Oh, so he's actually kind of like a genie.
Dude does give genie vibes, but genie with portals. And you know, Shadow the Hedgehog is a genie.
Except what, his bottle was the gun capsule?
I'm pretty sure there was a game theory on this. I'm not budging.
No, you are one who budges. I see what you're
Did you find it?
to now. I just searched Shadow Genie. It's the first video that pops up. Game theory, Shadow is actually a genie.
Shadow is a genie, so is Hoopa. He's got limiter rings. They've got limiter rings. Both are unbound and can use Warp Topaz. It's Shadow the Hedgehog is Hoopa from Pokemon. They're both genies. They've both got limiting rings. I guess technically unbound could be Shadow's super form if you want to make that argument.
At first, I thought you were just going to say that Hoopa is just the Warp Topaz itself, but I'm gonna have to watch this later. Oh my goodness.
Here's my alternative to Dr. Starline, though, only because I dislike that darn platypus. Platypi are semi-aquatic, which means they're partially fish, so I want Dr. Starline to be this guy, Chi-Yu, the ruinous Pokemon.
What am I looking at? It's a goldfish, I can tell you that, or it looks like a goldfish.
Chi-Yu looks ridiculous. And I think Starline is ridiculous, and they're both mildly aquatic. I rest my case. It's a goldfish, and platypi are at least mildly fish.
It looks like it's trying to do like that yin-yang thing with its eyes, which is actually kind of cool, but it's still weird to look at.
Its eyes also glow. They've got jade beads curled around the beads that are its eyes. And I like the idea of taking 2 small beads and just shoving them into the platypus's ears, and then running a current through them and electrocuting him.
I was afraid you were gonna go Kratos Deus God of War 3, the platypus.
We could also just drown him. Is my murderous intent coming through?
Yes, it is definitely coming through.
Cool, let's change the subject.
All right, to someone who also has murderous intent. What about Infinite? You love Infinite.
I like that guy.
So for Infinite, I was thinking Darkrai. The first thing here is in terms of design, Darkrai and Infinite for my brain have like a very similar vibe of like dark and brooding, only one eye visible. But then my brain was also thinking, because Darkrai is all about causing nightmares, which in a way are illusions or distort your perception or your brain's perception.
I really see where you're going with there.
Yeah, just like the... How am I blanking on the thing? The thing in his chest. Phantom Ruby, jeez.
I mean, could you also make the same argument that it's the Phantom Ruby that's embodied by Darkrai or otherwise?
Yeah.
I see where you're going there. Like, Darkrai's whole thing is causing nightmares, which are distortions of dreams in a way. And you could say that the Eggman Wars was a form of nightmare on a global scale. I see that. Darkrai, I feel like also, too, it needed a specific item to access them in the Pokemon games?
So in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Darkrai was one of 3 special event Pokemon. Because it was Darkrai, Shaman, and Arceus.
Right.
For Darkrai, actually, we have to deal with the side effects of Darkrai in the game outside of Darkrai's special event. Because in one of the towns, there's a sailor's son who is being afflicted by this unending nightmare and can't wake up. And you need a certain item to cure them. And this item, I'm blanking on the name of it, is dropped by Cresselia, which is basically the opposite of Darkrai.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, it's through the special event that you get the item to give to the sailor to go to the other island. Because Cresselia is on, like, either, like, a full moon island or something like that. And Darkrai is on that opposite side of the moon island. And basically, once you go there, in the middle of this dark forest, is Darkrai, and you get your battle.
If anything, that contrast between the way Infinite once was and the way he is now and the almost light and dark of Darkrai and Cresselia does give some vibes that I'm totally down with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's almost like a warrior, like fighting for what's right and then kind of becoming the villain who just wants to see the world burn.
Yeah, and I think Infinite was more mercenary more so than anything else, but hero vigilante in a way. You could make that argument.
Yeah, like mercenary, and again, if he was paid by Resistance, then technically he is fighting for the good side.
In another realm, though, we haven't talked about Mega Darkrai. I don't know if you've seen this thing.
That's relatively new, isn't it?
Oh yeah, dude. I want you to take one look at this Pokemon and tell me that's not Black Doom in tentacle form.
I can't argue you. I'm not going to, because I see it. I will say, he looks ridiculous.
He's got little tentacles. He's got a central eyeball, just like Black Doom.
And he's got just his head poking out of the pupil. Like, hey, how's it going?
I don't know if you see it too, but just like behind his head is kind of meatball-like. Kind of like how Neo Devil Doom looks in Generations.
Part of why I've stepped away from Pokemon is I think some of their designs are a little ridiculous. I'm putting this one on there. That's funny.
That's definitely given nightmare energy. I'll take it.
You're saying nightmare. I'm saying, oh man, he should do stand-up.
Now, I know you had another thought for Black Doom, and I want to hear what it is.
For Black Doom, my first thought was Deoxys. Because Deoxys is a straight-up alien.
Straight-up alien with representing DNA, right? The DNA of Shadow.
And then, of course, the DNA, depending on what it interacts with, transforms. Because that's how we get the multiple Deoxys forms. Just like how we have the Black Arms, how they are Black Doom's DNA mixed with other forms of DNA. And that's how we get them.
And even the, I don't remember the name of the Wisp hybrids.
Oh, the Dark Wisps, or whatever they were called.
They are Dark Arms, I think, versus Black Arms.
Right, because Black Arms are like the actual troops, and then the Dark Arms are Black Doom Wisps that combined with Eclipse.
I mean, to be fair, these little guys could absolutely map to all the Deoxys forms.
So the thing
forms.
is, for at least these little guys, by themselves, they can't really do anything.
I mean, they're just little guys.
Yeah, they're just little guys.
That's wacky. Deoxys can canonically merge with people.
Oh, wow.
And is that not Shadow the Hedgehog, in a way? When Black Doom and Gerald Robotnik combined together to create beautiful Shadow the Hedgehog, is that not the same as Charles Murloc in Detective Pikachu Returns, combining with Deoxys to create Charles Deoxys? Beautiful. No argument there. I would say, too, that we could also make arguments about the canonical Sonic aliens to the Ultra Beasts in Pokemon, but they're not considered mythical or legendary. They're a completely different category, so
Yeah.
maybe another time.
Yeah, definitely another time.
Here's a preview of that episode. It's just Zomom and Guzzlord.
Oh, yes, of course.
Zomom with the giant sandwich and Guzzlord being like mouth dripping, being like, I want some.
What's up?
Bring me the Ultra Sandwich.
The next character I was thinking of was Surge, because we haven't talked too much about Surge.
You're right.
We've been putting off the Surge episode.
Electro Tenric.
For Surge, the only legendary Pokemon that she could really link with is Zeraora. I hope I'm saying that.
Zeraora was like the electric dog?
Electric
Wolf
thing that looks like Zoroark. To me, these two Pokemon look way too heckin' similar. Also, the fact that their names are also pseudo-similar as well, that does not help.
I don't know if I see the resemblance between the two, but I do appreciate the Thunderclap Pokemon.
Thank you for the thunderclap.
You're welcome. I try my best. Break this down further. I'm not as familiar with Zeraora. I'm gonna get used to saying that. Looks like electro animal. Surge is also electro and animal. I see the resemblance there, but what else you got?
So part of my logic here was Zeraora is the only pure electric legendary there is.
Oh, really?
Well, it is either Zeraora or Arceus with an electric plate. Those are our only two pure electric type legendaries. Because the only other one I could think of is Zapdos, except Zapdos is also flying.
Yeah.
Because Zapdos is a
agree with
bird.
that.
And beyond those, are there any other like electric legendary Pokemon?
Raikou is only electric.
Oh, but Raikou doesn't fit here because Raikou is in that triangle with Entei and Suicune, and the only one they really link with is Kit. So that's why for me, Raikou doesn't fit, because you would need two other points.
Okay, well, let me throw another one at you. What about Regieleki?
Oh my gosh.
Like the embodiment of electricity. I can see that it wouldn't fit with Surge either, because like Regieleki feels almost like a proverbial force of nature.
Yeah, like a primal force. And also, again, they were like created by Regigigas, and so they're almost like an ancient entity. Surge isn't that old, and neither is Starline, who did make Surge.
I feel like you could make that argument of if Regieleki was created by Regigigas, then if Surge is Regieleki, then Starline is Regigigas, but I don't like that train of thought, so I like the whole process of elimination approach to Zeraora.
Yeah.
We mentioned the platypus. Let's change the subject.
Exactly. Since I mentioned Surge, I have to mention Kit as well, and Zeraora doesn't have like a water opposite, so I gave Kit Manaphy.
I like that little water dude.
Why?
Now,
it totally wasn't because Manaphy was the only water legendary I could think of in the heat of the moment.
Hold up, let's process of elimination this again. Let's see.
Kyogre doesn't work.
Kyogre's a whale. Kit isn't a whale.
No. And Lugia doesn't fit. Oh, wait. Lugia's not a water type. I don't know why I think it's because Lugia is closely associated with water, but Lugia himself is not a water type.
Yo, speaking to water type, which could map Surge back to Raikou, but then who is the fire?
But yeah, then the problem is we don't have an Entei, and I don't want to break up the legendary trio like that.
Yeah, because they are the legendary trio for a reason. Maybe that just means that there is another platypus creation out there that embodies the flame of the legendary dog trio.
Well, I mean, they'll have to either already have been created and lost until the writers decide to write them into the story, because Starline's not making anything new anytime soon, because he came down with a minor severe case of death.
So I guess we'll have to table the Entei conversation until he revitalizes.
Until he gets better.
He gets cured. Cured from death.
Also, I just love this idea of Surge being like this bipedal, like lightning werewolf dog thing, kind of like it could easily mess you up, and then Kit's just a freaking Manaphy, just a derpy little water droplet.
I see the contrast.
I don't know, there's something about that just tickles my fancy and makes me laugh.
It is also worth mentioning that Keldeo a mythical Pokemon, is also water type and fighting.
Oh, right, because Caldeo they're the one who's part of like the three swordsmen or whatever, right? With Cobalion, Terrakion, and Verzian? Verzian? I don't know. You know who I'm talking about,
Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion taught this Pokemon how to fight. Kit doesn't feel like much of a fighter.
And yeah, they also have like a whole swordsman thing going on. It's weird.
But who in Sonic has a sword who also does water? It's Chaos, but I throw a rusty sword at him. And it got stuck in his body, and he's like, what do I do?
I was gonna say, I don't think Marine has a sword. And the only one I can
Captain Keldeo from the Soul Empire.
Meanwhile, it's flailing its horn everywhere, and then just like a 180 spins off the boat and just plops into the ocean.
And that's why we didn't get another Sonic Rush.
R.I.P. I wanted to continue characters we don't really talk about, and I want someone dark, someone destructive. I really wanted to focus on villains for this. And so I was thinking Dark Gaia.
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about a lot of Sonic Unleashed stuff.
You can kind of tell from my list here that I went a lot into Sonic Unleashed. Even though we've done a whole episode about it, I think there's just a lot of cool stuff there that I kind of want to see more of. So for Dark Gaia, I was thinking Yvelta from Pokemon X and Y, because to my understanding, Yvelta is essentially like death itself.
If I can chime in for a second here.
Of course, Professor.
Yveltal is the destruction Pokemon, while Xerneas, their opposite, is the life Pokemon. So you could make the argument of life and death, or destruction being the opposite of creation. And when I take my hand off of my glasses, I return to my normal form. Feels like death.
Yeah.
They're apparently a part of the Aura Trio. R.I.P. Lucario.
Yeah, try Aura Sphering your way out of this one.
Embrace the Aura!
And of course, because Dark Gaia would be Yvelta, Light Gaia / Chip would be Xerneas, because again, you have your opposites of life and death.
Oh, I like that comparison there.
The thing is, I don't have one for the other one in their trio, which would be Zygarde, because we don't have a Sonic character who's cells?
Yeah, and Zygarde got a bit of an expansion in Legends ZA with his mega power-up, which kind of looks like a dude holding a marble column on top of his head.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the mega. I think the complete form looks really cool.
Dude's like Titan style.
It hits that like mecha vibe for me, so I really like it.
And I guess if we want to keep it in the Sonic Unleashed world, we could say that Zygarde in complete form is the Gaia Temple Construct, or whatever its name is, I forgot already.
The Gaia Colossus?
Yeah, that thing, right? Because in a way, you have to build up all of the individual blocks of the temple and all the individual cells of Zygarde. Don't ask me what the heck the dog form is supposed to represent in Sonic Unleashed. I just want to say that that's Professor Pickle, because I like the idea of Pickle as a name for a dog.
Is it because he's green? Are you pickling the dog?
Pickling the dog. The dog is a Pokemon, and it's apparently a dragon and ground type.
Yes, it is. I prefer Regigigas for my Gaia Colossus.
I see that. I mean, I guess we're just going to have to say Professor Pickle is Zygarde and just leave it at that.
I mean, if you think about it, Professor Pickle is a person, and people are made of cells.
Dude, the connection has been made.
What is this stretch?
If you put all the humans in Sonic Unleashed together, you get the complete form of Zygarde. And if you put a freaking submarine on top of them, they become Mega Zygarde.
I need you to know that I'm thinking of the human characters in that game just stacking on each other to make like a Voltron. Except, of course, it's Professor Pickle as the head.
This is the intersection of Pokemon and Sonic the Hedgehog, whether you like it or not.
This is your Zygarde now. Oh my goodness gracious.
Sonic in Werehog form is just like, what the? Did you have anything else, or is this where we gotta stop for now?
I think this is where we can wrap up. I don't have anything else on this list.
I don't know how we keep tending to take Sonic the Hedgehog episodes and somehow evolve them into Eldritch Horrors, or body constructs, or body horror.
This is a monster that I need visualized now. I need this.
What do they say during the Pokemon episodes? It's a whole new world we live in.
What the Yeah.
But you still have to catch them all, Lycos.
We have to catch all of these humans in Sonic Unleashed if we want Professor Pickle complete form.
In a way, there is a Pokedex interpretation that is a Pokemon for every animal and a Sonic character for every animal. And there are humans. And it can't just be Eggman.
And if you guys at home disagree with any of our options or have better ideas for certain connections, let us know in the comments, please.
And thanks for joining us for another unhinged LoreX episode.
These are the best kind of LoreX episodes.
My favorites. Peace out, Professor. Bye.